Yatsana nana Hawaii, 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 Yatsana.
I want to tell you a great story about the big fish, and this is the way I heard it from my family. A long time ago, here at Mono Lake, the Indians heard about this big fish coming, and it was going to come over the mountains here. So everybody took off, and all the men, they went up like where Tioga Pass is today, and they tried to make a big like rock place up there so the fish couldn't come through. But it was so big that it did break through there, and the rocks just scattered everywhere. And also, when it came, it was descending down into Mono Lake, and it formed this big canyon that comes down out of Tioga Pass there into Mono Lake. So when the fish got into the water at Mono Lake, he didn't feel real good about the water at Mono Lake. So he jumped out of the lake and went over where June Lake is. And the water was fresh, and it was good for him. So he spawned some eggs there and some fish there, but he had to move on because the lake was too shallow. So he went to the next lake, Gull Lake, that's too shallow. So he goes to Silver Lake, it's too shallow. Grant Lake's too shallow, but he made these little baby fish on his way going there. And so then he comes back into Mono Lake. The Indians decided that they wanted to try to keep this fish in the lake, and they put rocks on him. And they got the rocks from the south of the lake over here in the area towards the White Mountains. And that's how we get the White Island from those people, our people putting the rocks on the fish. And he was fighting in the water, and when he was trying to get out of there, and he was so big that he got out, but he scraped himself. And all the scales got in the water. And when that got into the water, that's how we got our kuzabi. And then we become the kuzabi eaters, kuzabi deka. And we call ourselves the kuzarika. That's what it means. That's how we get our name in Northern Paiute. And then he jumps from there, and he heads over to what we call Walker Lake today. And that's how we get, in the old way, agayogreat, agaidaka. Because when he got into Walker Lake, it wasn't as bad as Mono Lake for salt and all the minerals. So he laid some more eggs in there and stayed there for a while. And he had a family there. So then he takes off from that lake and jumps all the way up to Pyramid Lake. And he did the same thing at Pyramid Lake. And that's how we get the Kuyudika up there. The people, I'm talking about the people at Pyramid Lake. And that's what they do. They eat that fish that's up there. And it ties us all in and shows us how we're Numudawee. We're relatives. And that we live, we're all family, Northern Paiutes. So then he jumps out of that lake and he goes into Lake Tahoe. And that lake is big and it's good water. And he likes it. So he swims around in that lake and he goes way down in the bottom and he has a family. And that's how we get all those fish from this big fish. And we know he's still in the bottom of that lake today.